Hello you and happy 3rd of December and welcome back to Kosii's Christmas coaster calendar, where today I'll be showing you how to build this beautiful sleigh right here. As you can see up in number 3, we've got a little mini version of the sleigh right here, which I think is very adorable. And for those members who, support me a little bit extra, I'll also be doing a tutorial exclusive to members on how to do this little mini sleigh over here, because it is very cute. But that is not today's video, because today I'm going to be showing you how to build this little tiny, well, not really tiny, I guess, this big sleigh right here, which is actually surprisingly simple. I've made this as simple as possible right here, so even if you are very new to the game, you can build this right here, and it's very not difficult at all. It's quite easy to build. So without further ado, let's get on with it. If you do need to pause, at all, then please feel free to, as this will be a bit of a harder one, and I'll be trying to go through as fast as possible, so this video isn't ridiculously long, so feel free to pause or slow down the video. Anyway, guys, we're going to get started right here. So we're going to go into our scenery, into primitives, and just scroll all the way along right here until we find this little primitive cuboid bar right here. Now, make sure we're on a half snapping right here and normal on default, and you can also just change your rotational to default as well if you want right here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to start off with our middle bar right here, which we're just going to put about there, I think. Now, this isn't actually technically in the right place, because what we want to now do is just hold shift right here and click onto this, and we just want to go into default snapping, bring this out back by 1 like so, and then in here we want to change our custom snapping to 0.1. This means that we can then bring this out by 0.1 either way, and we can get a bit of a thicker little bit of sled here, I guess it is the sledge part, I don't know, but anyway, we're going to bring this across 3 long like so, and you can see over here that we're just going to, from here, we're going to have a gap in between of, I keep on selecting the wrong thing, of 1, 2, 3 like so, so we're going to do that over here. We're just going to bring this out by 1, 2, 3, and then same with this one over here, which will then allow us to have this sort of thing right here. We're going to bring this all the way along, just as we have on the other side, which means that we now get a little bit of our sledge right here, which we can color this color right here. It's just like an orangey yellow color to make it look gold, and then we're just going to get it metal, which we'll paint in all like so. We have these nice little golden lines right here, and now it's time to do these big circle parts at the front right here. So what we're going to do right here, first of all, we're going to come in, we're going to get in this little pole piece right here, a little bit smaller, and we're just going to place that in like so. Now we of course want to place this in every single piece. I recommend not painting this and actually just keeping this blue for now, just because it will make your life a little bit easier, and it makes everything a little bit easier to understand. And then what we're going to do is just go into a quarter snapping and bring this up by 1, 2, 3 like so. It doesn't matter where along we place this, it really does not matter, and it doesn't change anything, but we're just going to place that in like so. And now we can start to make these big turns right here using the circle tool. So what we're going to do is just hold the shift like this, click on that, and then we're going to hold shift again and click with our middle mouse button, which brings us into this mode right here. Now we need to make sure that we've set this to 11.25, I think this is right here, and then using that we're going to bring this just all the way along, apparently impaling ourselves. No, we're going to bring this all the way around like so, all the way around until we're going around like that. And now I'm not actually sure how many more we bring this round right here, because I can't remember all this off the top of my head, so we're going to have to check here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 round. I thought it was something like that. So we're going to bring this round by just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more like that, which means that we've got our big circle piece. Now we just need to repeat that for every single one right here, and by every single one I mean all 4 of them right here. So we just want to bring that all the way around like so, and I'm just going to do the other 2, and there we go, guys. We've got all of those in right here, which means we can remove this piece and we can just paint all this with this lovely gold metal color right here. Look how lovely this is looking now already. So now we've got all that done, we need to do our back curves as well, because at the moment it's a bit flat and it's a bit boring. We want to make it look a little bit more like an actual sleigh rather than just some random lines at the moment. So we need to go and do these back parts now. So very similarly to the front part here, we just want to again place in these tiny little things right here on a quarter snapping. We'll just bring all these in right here, and just as we did with the other part, sorry, we need to change this to 0.2 to actually line this up right here. As we did with the other part right here, we're going to just bring these going all the way around, but not quite as much on this one. And just to make that slightly, well, I say slightly, a lot less curve right here, we're going to go on to default snapping and just bring this up by 1 and 2 like so. Bring this into the middle just to make our life a little bit easier. And then what we're going to do is, just as we did before, come into here, use 5-degree snapping right here, and we're just going to bring these up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which will give us that very slight curve, as you can see right right here. Now, we just need to do these for the other 3 right here, so I'll see you when I've done that. And there we go. Now we've got all those painted with the same gold. That is actually our sled in right here. Look how simple that was. I mean, we're literally only 5 minutes into the video, and we're already getting something that looks like a sleigh, which is pretty good. But now it's time to get our poles, which actually connect into the sleigh right here, into the red pot. So we just want to come into here. We're on our half snapping, by the way, and just on default everything else. And we just want to bring this 1, 2 from when it's kind of in the middle right here. We don't have to move it anywhere because it just wants to stick in the middle right here. And then from the other side, you can see we can just go here and go 1, 2, 3 in like that. So we can just go from here, go 1, 2, 3 like so, and just the same over here. So now we've got all of our little poles sticking out. Then we can actually start to get our red part in. I'm going to get rid of that so it doesn't get in our way. And we're just going to get our primitives here and start by getting a little flat piece in like so. And we just want to, we don't want to do that. We just want to go into precision build mode right here and bring this up with a quarter snapping until it lines up. And this is actually quite easy to line up right here because all we need to do is just bring this out on a quarter snapping and bring it out on either side like so, just so it slightly pokes over the pole right here. And you can see once we've got all that in, we can just paint it our lovely red right here, which the red that I'm using right here is this color right here in just plastic, and we can just paint that, and now we've got a bit of a base going. So let's get this with some curves right here. Now this is very similar to the front parts right here, so by now you probably know what we're going to do right here, but we're just going to go into shift right here, and we're going to get our big primitive cuboid bars right like this. We're going to just chuck this on 45-degree snapping for now, so this is a little bit easier, and we just want to bring that one like so, and just bring these on each end. Now again, we don't want to paint these really, just to make it a little bit easier so we can tell where, you know, things are and aren't at the moment. And what we want to do is just go into a half snapping like so and bring this up by a half like that. Okay, so now we can actually start to make our curve right here. So what we want to do is just go into here and change our custom snapping to 15 degrees. Now we can just bring this up by, oh, not like that, sorry. We need to actually attach this right here using the middle mouse button. And we just want to bring this up like so, about 4 like that. And then now we've got to this point right here, we can just bring this up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more like that. And that gives us the actual back of the sleigh right here. Now we can obviously paint this all like so. And we just need to chuck this over here, so I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, so that's all done. So now to get this little back curve right here, we just want to bring this out by a quarter like so to get our little pivot point, as I like to call it. And then we can just grab this here, go onto middle mouse button, and using 30 degrees custom snapping right here, we can just bring this round a ton like so, and just like that until we're about to this point right here. And that gives us our little back curve. And then now we just need to do that for the other point, which is why I'm just questioning why the fuck I just got rid of that right there, but oh well. And we just want to actually bring that around like so on 30 degrees snapping, and then it'll just go all the way around like that. And now we've got our little back curve. And now what we can do is do the front curve right here. Yay! So many curves, but don't worry guys, we'll get there, you know, we'll finish this soon, and then we can actually get to some other things than just doing these curves. So we just want to go into a half snapping and bring this up by a half like so, because of course now what we want to do is do our little front curve. So we want to just attach this like so, and using our 15 degree snapping right here as we used before, we can just bring this going all the way up, and I think we go about it's 2 or 3, I can't remember what, let me check. I was right, it is 3 right here, as I just did. I'm the massivest brain ever. But now we've got all of those 3 going up like that, we can now bring in our front part, which we do similar to the this part over here. We just need to bring this out by a quarter like so, and we can just get this right here. And if we change this to 30 degrees right here, we can just bring this all the way around on a nice curve like so. And you can see that it kind of goes out by, I think, 2 more there. Let me see. It's a little bit confusing to look at this, isn't it? I think it might actually even be 3, or I don't know, it might just be 2, and I'm getting confused right here. But I'm just going to go out by 2 because that does look about right, like so. And then once we've done all that, again, we can just paint all that, and you can see that things are starting to look quite lovely, except for the random little blue pit a bit there, I guess. But yeah, things are starting to look quite lovely right here. And now we just need to copy this over to here, which I'll do real quick. And boom, there is the front curve in. To be honest, I thought this would be a lot hard to show you guys how to do, but I guess it was just much harder to actually design than build right here, because this is kind of a walk in the park to explain. But anyway, now we've got all this stuff in right here, we actually want to get our sides in, which is one of the last things we actually surprisingly need to do right here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to come into here, and we're going to get one of these cuboid bars right here. Now we just want to bring this out on no snapping until it just shows through on this side right here. You want to get it as close as possible to make this seamless, obviously, so we just want to be careful with that right here. And then still on no snapping, we want to bring this up to about here where it just starts to show up again. This is the most precise part. It's a bit annoying, but it is what it is. And then what we want to do is just bring that out until it stops showing through there, so it just connects up to there perfectly. And then we want to just bring this across, and again, make sure that it just pops out just slightly right here. Make it as seamless as possible, because obviously we want to make this as perfect as possible. Oh, I accidentally moved that last minute there. Let me just get that in perfectly. And there you go. You can see that's now in right there, and we can just paint both of those, and they're pretty much damn seamless right here. And now to get our bit of a lower part down here, we just want to bring this here, and we just want to go on to our quarter snapping right here, and just bring this down by 1, 2, 3 like so. And then we can just bring this across by a whole one like that, and we want to do the exact same on the other side. I mean, I think what I'm going to do right here actually, guys, is just show you how to do this one side, and then you can just rewatch that part of the video and see how to do it here, rather than me showing you for both of them right here. So that's what I'm going to do from now on. And now to get our little lowest elevation in right here, what we want to do is just bring this down by another 2 on a quarter snapping, and we just want to bring this until it just pokes through right there. And now we want to get this little curve in right here, so we've got that little, I guess, edge on it. So we want to bring out this little cuboid pole thingy right here on a quarter snapping, and then we also want to just bring one down here, because then we need to get our curve in, which we want to do at a 45-degree angle snapping right here, and we can just bring that going all the way around like so, and then we can just get rid of this little piece right here. So now you can see that we can get that entire corner going around like that. And now finally, to get our little diagonal part, just to connect this all together before we can literally just fill all this in right here, we want to just come into here, and on 11.25 degree snapping, we can just bring this round by 3 like that, and we can just go on to no snapping and just bring this in perfectly so it all lines up nicely, and then you can just bring that down like so, which then will mean that we've got our entire outline done. Now all we have to do is basically fill all this in, which you can literally just do by going into a quarter snapping right here and just bringing this through. You might need to go into no snapping every so often, like that point right there, so that it doesn't stick through, because of course you don't want it to stick through anywhere. But you can literally just bring this going all the way across right here and just fill all this in. Now something to keep an eye on is that you do actually get this tiny little gap right here, so make sure to bring this down by a quarter, or you will get that really awkward little gap, which this is a pain to fill in because it's so tiny. So I even recommend just going on no snapping right there and just bringing that up off of the grid, just so you can get that all in. And then all we've got left to do right now here is just bring this in and fill that all up, which means that we've got this entire side in right here. I mean, how easy was that? What I'm now going to do is just duplicate it over to the other side, so we've got our other side in, so I'll see you in a second. And there we go. That was surprisingly quick right here. We've got this entire side in right now, which means that literally the last thing to do is add in these seats and loads of presents. Now, something that I do want to point out is that I did actually slightly stick some presents through the back right here on this one, which I didn't realize until now. So you do want to be careful with that once you're placing it. I mean, it doesn't matter if they stick through a little bit, because you'll barely notice seeing as it's under here, but do make sure that when you're filling presents, which we'll do in a second, that you don't do that. But anyway, let's get in our seats. So all we need to do right here is just hold shift, and we can go into here right here, and we just want to bring this up by 2 on a quarter snapping, and then we can just bring this back by another 2 like so, bringing that just across 1 there, and then just bring that all the way along will give us a nice seat going all the way along right there. I feel like I'm saying all the way along and there quite a lot in today's video, but there you go, I guess. So we're going to bring this across to about halfway, yeah, so it's halfway sticking through, rotate that by 90 degrees, and then we just want to bring that up until it just touches that edge right there. We can now bring that all the way along, and we've got a nice seating. It's easy as that. And of course, we do also want to get in our little bar going along here. So what we'll do is we'll just get in this little bar, bring it up by a quarter, rotate it around by 90 degrees, and just bring that back by a quarter like so. Make sure that that actually doesn't stick through the edge. You'll see that there's a little gap between the seats, which you can cover if you want, but I personally, I'm not even going to bother, because it does cause a lot of glitching with textures unless you faff around with it. And to make this tutorial just a lot easier right here, I'm not going to do that. So what we want right here is this wood right like this, and just in this wood texture, and you can just color that little bottom part. And then for the seats right here, you can see it's literally the exact same color right here. In fact, no, it's not. I think it's that one right there, and then you just use some sand. Now if you do actually want to make this a slight little bit darker or a different color, there are different red colors which you can use right here, which to be honest I would recommend using, to be honest, because if not, then it all kind of looks the same. This one here looks quite nice, although you can go for this one right here. I'm not even sure if this is the same color. It is, isn't it? Oh no, it isn't. That's actually the same color. So yeah, surprisingly that that one looks a little bit different. It looks a bit more darker. But if you want to go for about the same color or just a bit of a bright color, then you can go with that one right here. I personally, here, I'm going to use this one just because why not? We might as well make it a little bit different. And I have accidentally just painted that, which isn't brilliant, so we'll just paint that back. But now we've got that seating right there. That is literally everything done. All we need to do is add in some presents into the back, which is pretty self-explanatory. I don't really need to show you how to do that right here because all it really is, or I guess I can show you a couple tips right here, is you need to just go into no snapping everything and on 11.25 degrees snapping here, I'd say. I'd recommend adding in one big present in the middle. Also, yeah, get rid of that. Although actually it's going to be helpful because I want to bring that up. Bring a big present up a little bit higher like so, and then get in these medium-sized presents right here and bring in a couple of those around the place. Just so then you've got some guiding presents almost, I'd say. That's what I'd call them, I guess. And then what you can do is come in with your small presents right here and fill in all the gaps. Bring it up a little bit more so it all connects in, and just make sure that everything looks alright. There's no weird like parts, you know, where you can kind of see half the present and it's just floating. Make sure that everything's all filled in, especially on this side here with the seat. You want to make sure that everything is at different levels and all filled in nicely like so. Bringing it all the way along like that. We don't want any prevailing colors, I guess, right here. We don't want any colors to really stick through, so you want to make sure that you're getting even presents over these big presents kind of sticking through these big presents here as well, so that you've got a little bit of variation of color when we actually bring in those different colors, because if not, everything's going to kind of look very similar and it's not going to look brilliant. Now again, you need to be careful because really you don't want any presents sticking through whatsoever. You're going to get presents sticking through, to be honest. It's something that you're not really going to be able to avoid right here, but you can try your best, I guess. Something that you could also do right here is actually even rotate it round so that you've got some rotation in your presents as well. That does actually help quite a bit to make it look a bit more varied right here. I didn't do it over here because this was just more of an example, but if you do want to rotate some of these around like so, it will add a lot more variation and it'll make it so that your actual thing looks a lot more varied and a lot different and not just the exact same like kind of present, I guess, copied over and over, because when you just put in the exact same thing over and over, it will start to look very samey. So I do recommend just rotating some of these round by a little bit like so, just to kind of first of all make it feel like it's a bit more on top of each other and a little bit more buried. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. A little bit more buried and less all just samey and just the actual same present going over and over and over and over right here. And once you do that, it'll start to look quite nice. And then what you want to just do is basically just paint all these. Now I recommend starting off with one color like red like this, just so you have a base color, and then you can just change some of the colors. So for example, we can bring in an orange right here like so. We'll just bring in like 1 2 3 4 oranges right there. Then we can go to a nice greeny color right like this, 1 2 3 4 of those, and then a nice blue color, which will paint that big one right here. So we're only going to do like maybe 2 more like that, and then we can bring in a nice purple color, 1 2 3 4 like so, which means that you can see we've only got a couple of those other colors in there, and it's looking pretty varied and pretty nice. This one is a lot more bursting than this one, which you can see from all the rotations. It looks a lot nice with all the rotations, so I do recommend doing that. And overall, I think this is looking pretty good at this point. Now, something that I do want to point out for the people who are more skilled in the game is you can add gold edges to everything right here. It does improve it quite a bit right here, and it means that you can make everything just look a lot nicer right here by literally just bringing them out. Sorry, I got the exact wrong thing right there. We just want to bring these out by just a little bit in no snapping, and you can just bring these out and get a nice gold edge going all the way along your thing right here. It's a little bit difficult to do around the corners, if not impossible, so I do kind of recommend somehow capping it off and bringing it not round those corners, because it will make your life extremely hard right here. But you can see right here that it just adds a little bit more to it, rather than it just being one big flat red area, because without it, it does all kind of feel a bit flat. But yeah, again, one of the main problems is when you're bringing it you know, slightly down like this, it's going to stick through that unless you do something like this and bring that down just a little bit more to accompany that. So keep that in mind. You can add that, and it does add a lot to the build, but you do need to be quite skilled to do that, and I'm not going to show that in today's video just because it'll take a lot longer. to showcase that off, and it doesn't really look too much better, to be honest. Anyway, it just adds a bit more variation, and I think this looks really good, to be honest. But yeah, guys, here's all the lovely channel members and supporters on the screen. Thank you all so much for supporting. Like I said, for supporters, I'm going to do a tutorial on this little mini sledge up here, which I really like, to be honest. I think it's quite cute, and it's a nice little thing to add on, even to like maybe around a Christmas tree, or even on the Christmas tree, I guess. So if you want to go check that out, you can become a supporter for literally just 99p a month or $1.30. Click the little join button down below. You can go check that out. That'll be up when this video actually comes out, hopefully. But yes, I hope you all have enjoyed. Please do leave a like and comment down below what you think is going to be on a number 4. What do you think is going to be door number 4, guys? Please do comment down below. But except for that, guys, I'll see you all in another video. Goodbye.